Hello, coworkers. Good evening. Hello, Q. Nice to see you tonight here. I'll turn down my music a bit. Alright, I adjust myself. I'm getting whiplash. Alright, sweet. Today we are going to be playing through the demo for Prescription Love. I don't know what the story is about, because I generally like to leave myself completely blank about what I'm getting into. But, I think it's gonna be an, I guess, interesting experience, from what I understand. So we can get right into Prescription Love. Some romantic story about being with our doctor, I'm sure. Oh, I like the interesting UI here. Hmm. A sharp blinding light pierces through my eyelids as I slowly open my eyes. My limbs feel heavy and unresponsive, as if the bed had become part of me. What? I squint, trying to make sense of my surroundings, but everything is blur. The sterile smell of disinfectant biting at my nose. The rhythmic beeping of machines fills the room like a metronome. Are we the bed? I think we're on the bed. Makes more sense. Oh, okay. I look around disoriented, my vision slowly coming into focus. I'm lying in a bed, covered in crisp white sheets. Alright, in on the bed. And there's something strapped to my arm. An IV line? What's this doing in my arm? As I come to, there's a deep, throbbing ache in my head that feels like it's about to split my skull from the inside. Oh my god. I'm trying to read today. Why am I... My thoughts are fragmented, disjointed, like pieces of a puzzle scattered in every direction. My chest tightens as the realization hits me. I can't remember anything. Yeah, it looks like we've probably had a pretty big blow to the head. Nothing like amnesia. I'm like, ooh, I remember the last Otome game where I had amnesia, where that was exactly in the title. That was quite the adventure. What happened to me? Why can't I remember anything? I close my eyes, hoping for some fragment of memory to return. Think. Just think. Nothing. My breathing quickens, my hands clutching the sheets in fear. How can I not remember anything? Why is everything blank? Every effort to remember ends with nothing. Just a void where my memory should be. I try to sit up, but a sharp pain shoots through my head, and I collapse back onto the pillow. My heart pounded in my ears, drowning out the faint beeping of the machines. I feel my anxiety threatening to swallow me whole, when suddenly... A calm, steady voice cuts through the chaos swirling in my head. Hey, it's okay. His voice was gentle, but there's a firmness to it, pulling me from the brink of panic. I slowly turn my head toward the source of the voice. A tall man stands beside my bed. He's tall, but there's nothing intimidating about him. He's very pastel-coded. His hair looks a little messy, like he's been here for a while. Take a deep breath. Has he been here the entire time? Do you know where you are? I shake my head slowly, feeling tears prick at the corners of my eyes. Everything felt unfamiliar, terrifying. The walls were too bright, too sterile. Hey, it's alright. You're in a hospital. Nothing bad is gonna happen to you here. Especially not with me around. The most important thing right now is that you're awake and talking. I take a deep breath, feeling the tightness in my chest start to loosen. His words were meant to comfort me, and they did in a way. But they also left me with questions. So many questions that my head felt even heavier than before. I like he has like the kind of like the ooh smile. Like, so pastel coded, he's got the ooh mouth. And hi pop star queen. Yeah, he's just staring right into our souls. No biggie. Do you remember your name? Oh, right, my name. What was my name again? What is my name? I'll just say Koa. Koa. My name is Koa. Fantastic! That's a very good start. I should introduce myself. I'm Dr. Anselm. I was in charge of your surgery and have been overseeing your care since you were brought in. Surgery? Oh, okay, it's more serious than I thought. I had surgery? What the heck happened to me? Yes, you were brought in with a traumatic brain injury. You were admitted with a skull fracture, leading to internal bleeding and swelling of the brain. Emergency surgery was crucial to relieve the pressure on your brain. Okay, I mean, that kind of explains the amnesia, you know, that's quite the traumatic event. I stared at him, unable to fully process the magnitude of what he was saying. Brain surgery. I had brain surgery? My stomach twists at the thought. It was a very delicate procedure, but you came through it well. Since then, I've been monitoring you closely, waiting for you to wake up. Wow, okay. Now that's awfully nice of you, doctor. Do doctors usually do that? Usually after surgery, like the surgeon kind of just like leaves, right? And just like the nurses look after you. You have been unconscious for a little over 2 days. The idea that I've been under his care all this time, that he's been watching over me while I was unconscious, is both strange and oddly comforting. I know this is a lot to take in, but I promise you're in good hands. I could see it in the way he spoke, the careful way he monitored my reactions, as if he was measuring every word to avoid overwhelming me. With the initial shock of my situation beginning to settle, a pressing question rises to the forefront of my mind. Waiting for you to wake up versus, yeah, waiting for you to wake up. Do you know what happened to me? Did someone do this to me? For the first time, I saw a flicker of uncertainty in his expression. I'm afraid I don't have the answers, Dad. You were found unconscious and brought in by paramedics. From what I can tell, the significant impact suggests a forceful blow. Or possibly a fall. Unfortunately, I don't have any more details beyond that. Beyond than that. There were no witnesses. Okay, wait, witnesses? Why would you refer to as witnesses? The people who found you didn't see what happened. They found you laying unconscious on the floor and called for help. Is that how you spell unconscious? I don't think so. A chill runs down my spine as his words sank in. No witnesses? The blank spaces in my memory suddenly feel much larger and darker. This must be a sick joke. So, no one knows how I ended up like this? I wish I had more information for you. Sometimes, with injuries like this, the memory can be slow to return. Or it may never come back at all. But what is important is that we focus on your recovery. I swallow hard, the knot in my throat tightening. The idea that no one knows what happened. That even I don't know what happened. Will I ever get justice? Something deep inside me boils. Frustration, anger, fear. But then I look at Dr. Anselm. The genuine concern and kindness in his eyes, and I simply felt safe. He's been here since the beginning, watching over me, guiding my care. Even though he doesn't have all the answers, he's still here, ready to help me. Thank you for everything. I don't know how to even begin to thank you. A slight blush rises to his cheeks, catching me off guard. He waved a hand dismissively, clearly flustered. Oh, don't be silly. You don't owe me anything, Koa. I'm just glad I could help. Really, I don't know how to express how grateful I am. You're too kind. I'm like, sir, I know you're an anime doctor, but this seems highly unprofessional right off the bat. Why are you blushing so much? He glanced away for a moment, gathering himself before turning back to me. I'm just doing my job. Watching you recover, that's more than enough for me. Whatever happens, I'm going to do everything I can to help you through it. I take a deep breath, feeling a little steadier than before. I could feel the sincerity behind his words, his modesty almost endearing. The way he said my name, it wasn't clinical or detached. It made me feel like I was more than just another patient to him. Huh. Dr. Anselm takes a step back, giving a reassuring nod. I think it's best if you try to get some rest now. Your body still needs time to heal. I managed to grab his attention before he turned away. Wait. Can I contact my family? Just to let them know I'm okay? They haven't heard from me in days. I'm sure I must have worried them. A pang of unease hit me. Why hadn't anyone visited me? Oh, well... I'm afraid it's past the hospital's curfew. I can't make any calls at this hour. But don't worry, I'll make sure you get in touch with them first thing in the morning. The thought of waiting until morning feels like an eternity. Are you sure? I know it's the hospital's rule, but... The disappointment was heavy in my voice. He sighed and gently placed a hand on my head. I know it's hard, but right now, the best thing you can do is focus on getting a good night's rest. Yeah, hospitals have curfews in terms of visitors' hours. Like, there's visiting hours that, you can't just stay the entire night with, like, a patient. You actually have to leave if you're a visitor. His hand rested there a moment longer before he pulled away. Your body has been through a lot, and rest is crucial for your recovery. I promise, as soon as it's morning, we'll make those calls. Your family will be the first to know. Okay. I murmured, unsure but too tired to argue. Just try to relax now. The severity of my situation still lingers, but there's also a sense of exhaustion settling over me, pulling at my eyelids and making my body feel heavy. Maybe he's right. Maybe rest is exactly what I need right now. Alright, I'll go to bed now. Thank you, Dr. Anselm. His eyes twinkled softly. You're welcome. If you need anything, don't hesitate to press the call button. Rest well. We'll talk more in the morning. With that, he turns and quietly leaves the room. Like, was he just sitting there waiting for us to wake up? The entire time? It's been 2 days, bro. Closing the door softly behind him. I'm left alone with my thoughts and the steady beeping of the heart monitor beside me. The room feels quiet and still, but there's a sense of safety in knowing that help is just a button pressed away. I closed my eyes, trying to focus on my breathing, letting the sounds of the hospital fade into the background. The weight of the day presses down on me, and slowly, as I drift off, I hold on to the hope that tomorrow will bring more answers, and finally, the sound of a familiar voice. My sleep was suddenly interrupted. A soft creak that echoed through the room. My eyes fluttered open, but I was too groggy to fully register the sound. Was that my imagination? I groaned internally. I can't be bothered. I shifted in bed, wanting to go back to sleep, letting my eyes close again, eager to sink back into sleep. But then, I heard it again. A slow, deliberate creak, like someone was gently pushing the door. Still half asleep, I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe the nurses were checking in? I reasoned, forcing myself to relax. I squeezed my eyes shut and tried to force myself back to sleep. But that sense of unease started to creep in. I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. Something didn't feel right. With a groggy sigh, I forced my eyes open again and glanced at the door. That's when I saw them. What the fuck? A pair of eyes? Oh god, good lord. That's... Just in case we die right here now. Doctor, is that you? You wanna come in? They were peering at me through the gap in the door. The eyes almost blending into the shadowy gap, but there was no mistaking them. They were watching me. Threaten? Call out? Do nothing? I don't know, it's just my sleep paralysis demon. No biggie. Maybe we should call out. Let's try calling out. Hello? No response. They continued to stare, unblinking, as if they were studying me, waiting for something. I squint, trying to focus on the narrow gap of the door. I can't make sense of what was happening. Was someone actually watching me? Am I imagining things? It's just Mr. Crawling? No! Mr. Crawling doesn't have eyes. This is more unreassuring. Oh god. Oh. Nope. No, thank you. No. Oh, that's not... I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And hi, T. Thomas. Happy Thanksgiving. Alright, it's Thanksgiving. This is... Happy Thanksgiving. We're being watched in our sleep. Then, in a moment of clarity, I remembered the call button beside my bed. It was right there, within reach. My lifeline to help. I fumbled for it with trembling hands, my fingers finally finding the button. The instant I pressed it, the eyes vanished. One moment they were there, and the next they were gone, as if they had never existed. I quickly sat up in bed, staring at the door. The gap was now empty. Oh, if only it was Mr. Gap. I listened carefully, and then I heard it. The soft sound of footsteps, light and hurried, moving away down the hall. My pulse quickened and my mind reeling from what had just happened. Within seconds, Dr. Anselm enters the room. How is is he the only guy here? Like, where's the nurse? Aren't nurse usually it's the nurse that comes helps you. How come the doctor himself and apparently the surgeon has this much time on his hands? I came as fast as I could. His eyes immediately swept the room, searching for some unseen threat. I could see concern in his expression as he turned to me. Is everything alright? You pressed the call button. Did something happen? Someone was... I saw eyes staring at me. And they vanished the moment I pressed the button. I watched his eyes scan the room. He walked over to the door, glanced into the hallway before turning back to me. There doesn't seem to be anyone. You know, sometimes when we're exhausted, we see things that aren't really there. It's not unusual, especially when under a lot of stress. I shook my head. No, I'm sure of what I saw. They were right there! I even heard footsteps leaving after I pressed the button. Don't worry, I'll have someone check the security cameras to see if anyone was in the hall. For now, try to get some rest. I promise nothing bad is going to happen to you. He gave me a reassuring smile before leaving, but I could see the uncertainty in his eyes. As the door closed, I lay back down. I glanced at the door, half expecting to see those eyes again. I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep now, not after what I saw. Yeah, no. I wouldn't either. Before I knew it, morning had arrived. I must have fell asleep somehow, despite the restless unease from the night before. I still feel exhausted. A soft glow of sunlight filtered into the room. As I blinked again against the brightness, I realized that Dr. Ansem was sitting beside me. Why is this guy always next to me? Doesn't he have a job to do? Aren't you a doctor? Don't you have other patients? Good morning, Koa. How are you feeling? I'm okay. Even as I said it, a deep weariness tugged at me. But I didn't want to worry him. He always seemed so concerned, so invested in my recovery. The last thing I wanted was to add to his burden. About last night, security couldn't find anything from last night's recording. His words hung in the air. What? Those eyes... had it really been all in my head? Just a figment of imagination? But I do hope you managed to get some sleep. I hesitated, unsure of how to respond. Do we insist on it or let go? We're not going cray-cray, right? We're not cray-cray. I know we had brain surgery, we're not cray-cray, right? What happens if we just insist on it? Oh, what happened? My breath hitched and anger flared in my chest. Are you serious? I snapped, my voice louder, harsher than I meant. I could feel the frustration boiling over, too intense to hold back. There was someone there, Dr. Ansem. I wasn't imagining it. I could feel them watching me. And you're telling me there's no proof? How am I supposed to sleep knowing that creep is still in this building? Dr. Ansem looked sad. Like my reaction wounded him somehow. He opened his mouth to say something. But no words came out for a moment, and the silence between us grew thick with tension. I'll talk to them again later. His voice softer now, as though my anger had deflated him. I promise I'll dig deeper into this. I don't want you feeling unsafe. He paused, a quiet sadness in his eyes that I couldn't fully understand. You're right. I'll make sure they take a closer look. Trying to focus on something else, I reminded him. About the call you promised last night to my family? Of course, I remembered. I promised and I always keep my promises. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a hospital phone, handing it over to you. Here you go, let's get that call made. I eagerly take the phone. I dialed the familiar numbers and pressed the phone to my ear. Wait, so we don't remember a lot of the memories, but we at least remember what our phone number is. The phone rings once, then twice, and keeps ringing. I wait, holding my breath. But no one answers. Just a persistent sound of the ringtone, and then... finally...
Hello, no one is available to take your call.
The voicemail.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Seriously? I feel a sinking feeling in my gut as the call goes to the answering machine. I lower the phone. I can't hide the disappointment on my face. I don't even try to mask it. No one answered. Dr. Anselm places a comforting hand on my shoulder, grounding me in the present. His touch was warm, comforting. I looked up and his expression mirrored the sadness I felt. I'm sorry. I know how much you wanted to speak with them. Maybe they're busy is all. Don't worry. I sigh, trying to push down the disappointment. Yeah, you're right. I tried to sound convincing, but the emptiness lingered. Dr. Anselm gently took the phone from me, his fingers brushing against mine. I know it's not the news you were hoping for, but I have something that might cheer you up. Before I could respond, he stood up, the shifted energy catching me off guard. He looks like that guy from Moriarty. Oh, Moriarty the Patriot? Oh. I can kind of see that with the hairstyle, yeah. With that, he steps out of the room for a moment. Something for me? Whatever he had planned, I hope it would help take my mind off everything. Even if just for a while. He returns, carrying a tray with a delicious aroma wafting through the air. Ta-da! When it sets down in front of you, I look down at the plate, eggs and bacon arranged into a smiley face. I mean, that's cute. My eyes widen in surprise, a small smile tugging at my lips. I can't help but smile back at it. Aw, this is adorable. It's like my breakfast is cheering me on. Dr. Anselm chuckles, looking quite pleased with himself. Eggs and bacon are good for the soul. But the smiley face? That's for the spirit. Dr. Anselm watches me closely as I picked up my fork. His eyes gleaming with quiet anticipation. As I lift the fork to my mouth, I notice the smooth golden sauce pooling at the bottom of the pan, hidden beneath the food. Feeling intrigued, I scoop up a bit of it up with my next bite. The moment it hits my tongue, the flavors deepens. Rich, creamy hollandaise sauce with a hint of tang that perfectly balances the savory bacon and eggs. I thought we were eating pancakes. I thought it was pancakes too. The sauce elevates the meal in a way I hadn't expected. This is amazing! I'm almost at disbelief at how delicious the simple meal is. I take it the smiley face is working its magic? Definitely. But the taste? That's what's really winning me over. The holiday sauce adds this smooth, almost buttery richness. There's a big grin on Dr. Anselm's face. You can tell he spent his morning making it. Again, I'm like, aren't you a doctor? How does any doctor and surgeon find the time to cook breakfast for a single patient? So we sound like we've been lobotomized by this guy. Maybe. We took a chunk out of our brain along with the surgery. He's clearly pleased with my reaction. I thought the sauce might be a nice surprise. Adds a little something extra to bring it all together. You weren't kidding. I take another bite, savoring the way the cream sauce cuts through the richness of the bacon. You could serve this at a restaurant. I've never had breakfast like this in the hospital before. Well, just wanted to make sure your first meal felt special. I paused, looking down at the plate again, then back at him. Wait, did you make this? Mm-hmm. He nods, looking a little embarrassed. A soft blush creeps on his cheeks as he looks down at the floor for a moment before meeting your eyes. Yes, I did. I know hospital food isn't exactly known for being, well, gourmet. I didn't want your first meal to be just survival food. I smile at his clear embarrassment, noticing the way he fidgets slightly. Like he's not used to this kind of attention. He's so cute right now, but I feel like I shouldn't trust. Yeah. It's like, there's something about this guy I don't quite trust. Are we gonna end up in a human trafficking scheme? Are we gonna be a puppet? Awesome. Are we gonna be shipped off somewhere to God knows where when we recover? Well, you really outdid yourself. Thank you, Dr. Anselm. I really appreciate how much you do to make me feel comfortable, despite everything. It's like you always know how to make things better. I watched him flush at the compliment. This time he seemed almost bashfully proud, a mix of shyness and happiness sparkling in his eyes. Well, I'm really glad to hear that. I'll always make sure you're as comfortable as possible while you're here. Hearing that it's helping, that makes a difference, it means a lot to me. So really, thank you for saying that. His genuine happiness really shone through. It was clear that my compliment had brightened his day in a way that went beyond mere politeness. He looks way too happy about this. As I'm about to finish the last bite of breakfast, my eyes drift to the cup of coffee sitting quietly on the tray. I hadn't noticed it the whole time I was enjoying my breakfast. Black, steaming, and inviting. I reached for the cup, taking a tentative sip. I instantly paused. It's rich, smooth, with just the right hint of bitterness. It's not just good. It tastes exactly like the coffee I make. Not close, not similar, exactly. Wait, this tastes exactly like the coffee I make every morning. How is that even possible? I know. His voice barely above a whisper. So quiet that I almost wondered if I imagined it. He's standing there, his usual calm demeanor in place. But there's something different in the way he watches me. What was that? The words slipping out before I can stop them. He just smiles, a warm, casual smile. Like nothing is out of the ordinary. Oh? Really? I narrow my eyes, still processing the shock. No one ever gets it right the first time. Not the exact strength or balance of flavors. I take another slow sip, almost searching for a flaw. But there isn't one. This is spot on. Maybe I'm just good at reading people. His tone light, like he's just making conversation. But his words send a shiver down my spine. Though I can't pinpoint why. Either that or you've got some kind of sixth sense. It's kind of uncanny. I shake my head, trying to clear my thoughts. Am I overthinking this? I mean, it is just coffee. There's no need to make a big deal out of it. He's made me breakfast, not to mention been nothing but kind to me. Why am I doubting him? Girl, that's your survival instincts kicking in. It's like, oh, we need to run. But you can't run, because she's recovering from surgery. It's just a harmless coincidence. It has to be. He chuckles, the sound light and breezy. Let's call it a lucky guess. You just strike me as someone who enjoys strong coffee. But I'm glad I could make something right for you. His words are genuine. I suddenly feel guilty for letting my mind wander like that. He's been so considerate. Maybe I'm reading too much into things. I take another sip of coffee, feeling the warmth spread through me. There's no way he meant anything strange by it, I think to myself, relaxing a bit. He's just trying to make my stay a little more bearable, going above and beyond because he cares. I shouldn't doubt him. He's done nothing but try to help. As I set the cup down, I glance back at Dr. Anselm, who is watching me with that same gentle face. The warmth of the coffee lingers on my tongue, and the unsettling thoughts fade into the background. Thanks, Dr. Anselm. It does make a difference. You're very welcome, Koa. As he glances at his watch, his expression shifts ever so slightly. You should probably get some rest now, he says, as though he's reminding me of something important. You've had a long morning, and it's important you don't overexert yourself. I'm fine. Dr. Anselm smiles, but there's a firmness in his gaze that makes it clear he's not going to entertain any arguments. I know you're strong, but you still need time to heal. Pushing yourself won't help. He steps closer, his hand lightly brushing the edge of the blanket as he adjusts it over my legs. There's a tenderness in the gesture, something careful and deliberate. You need to take it easy. An unexpected wave of fatigue hits me, leaving me more tired than I anticipated. Bro, did he drug the coffee? This is feeling familiar. If anyone's ever played like Toma's route in Amnesia, I'm like, ooh, okay, girl, we gotta stop eating and drinking whatever he gives us. Whoa, am I experiencing the effects of a food coma? I don't know. I feel it's more than that. I think there's drugs in that coffee. Coffee's supposed to wake you up. This doesn't feel right. Oh, I sigh, feeling the pull of drowsiness become harder to resist. As if sensing my thoughts, he offers me a reassuring smile. I'll be back to check on you later. Oh, why? Aww. With that, he quietly leaves the room, closing the door gently behind him. I'm probably having a food coma. Oh, yes, do not eat the food from Pretty Men in Otome games. The more delicious it is, the more it's a trap. Dr. Anselm did say I need a lot of rest. I closed my eyes and nuzzled my face against the pillows. Time slips by. I'm finally awake from my peaceful nap. I rub my eyes, trying to shake off the drowsiness. Something catches my attention. The door to my room is slightly ajar. Why is the door left open like that? Was it... No, I'm sure I saw Dr. Anselm close the door before he left. Was somebody watching me sleep? The sight of the partially open door leaves me feeling on edge. I feel vulnerable, exposed. I sit up, heart thudding in my chest, trying to rationalize the situation. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe... Suddenly, the door creaks open wider. A figure steps into the room. It's Dr. Anselm. Knock knock. Smiling warmly, holding a clipboard in one hand and a small tray with medication in the other. I'm here for your checkup and medication. He noticed the fear etched on my face. You look terrified. What's wrong? With my heart still racing, I explained quickly. I was taking a nap, and when I woke up, the door to my room slightly opened. It reminded me about what I saw last night. His face changes slightly, to one of guilt. His gaze drops to the floor. Oh, I'm so sorry, Koa. I came in earlier to clear away the tray and utensils from your breakfast. I saw you were sleeping, so I tried to leave quietly to not disturb your sleep. I must not have shut the door tightly. I'm really sorry, that must have been so frightening for you. I glance over and realize he's right. The breakfast tray is gone. I hadn't even noticed in my initial panic. A sense of embarrassment creeps in as I realize I may have overreacted. No, I'm sorry, Dr. Anselm. An almond milk that is a loose sleep aid can enhance the taste of coffee. Oh. Yeah, I don't know what medication he's giving us, but it still feels kind of sus. I think last night left me feeling a little paranoid is all. He shakes his head. No need to apologize. It's completely understandable to feel uneasy. I should have been more careful. Your comfort and peace of mind are very important. I'm sorry for disturbing that. Thank you, Dr. Anselm. I guess I just need some time to adjust. Of course. He moves in closer to check my vitals. Let's get your checkup done, shall we? I promise I'll make sure to close the door properly next time. He places a tray of medication on the small table next to me. My eyes fall on the pills. So many pills. What are these for? He lifts the small plastic cup and shakes it lightly, making the pills inside rattle softly. Oh, these? They're painkillers and antibiotics. Given your injury, it's expected that you'll still experience headaches and occasional bouts of pain. The painkillers will help you recover comfortably while you're here. He pauses for a moment before adding, leaning back slightly as if considering the best way to explain. Now these. He holds up a larger white and red pill between his fingers. Are a bit stronger. Are narcotic analgesic? It's a potent painkiller used for intense pain. So don't be alarmed if you find yourself feeling more sleepy than usual. No, thank you. He points at the antibiotic, ensuring you're following along, then continues. Since I had to perform surgery on you, there's always risk of infection. And I wouldn't want that happening to you. These will help minimize that risk, ensuring your recovery stays on track. I see. I feel more at ease with the explanation. Thank you for taking the time to explain it to me. Of course. It's important for you to understand your treatment. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask. Your recovery is my top priority. Speaking of recovery, a question sits heavily on my chest. How long do you think I'll take to make a full recovery? He lets out a gentle sigh before responding. Well, honestly, it's hard for me to say for sure. We can't push it or predict exactly how long it'll take. Some people heal faster than others. But when it comes to the brain, patience is key. It could take weeks or even months. Seeing the concern on my face, he quickly adds with a soft smile. I know it's not easy to hear. With injuries, especially ones like yours, we have to be patient. I need to ensure you can get back to your daily life safely. When you're ready to leave. I notice a hint of sadness in his eyes when he mentions the possibility of me leaving. It's a fleeting expression, but I caught it. And just as quickly, he brushes it off, his professional demeanor returning. Offering the same reassuring smile, although it seems a bit forced this time. As always, your recovery is what's most important right now. No matter how long it takes. Why are you blushing? Sir, this is highly unprofessional behavior. I can't shake the feeling that there's more behind his words. You'll never be our nightingale. Bro wants to be our personal nurse so bad. Yeah, I can kind of see the thing with Violet Evergarden. I think it's the hair. It's the bangs in the front. Still, I decide not to press further. Dr. Anselm quickly changes the subject. Let's get you settled in with some dinner, shall we? He steps over to a small cart, lifting a bowl with a lid. He sets it down in front of me and lifts the cover to reveal a bowl of plain porridge. Aw. Compared to the delicious breakfast he made earlier, the porridge looks a bit bland. I can't help but feel a twinge of disappointment. I don't know about you guys though, but when I'm sick or feeling unwell, rice porridge is like my go-to. He chuckles at your reaction. I'm sorry it's not quite the same as breakfast, is it? I can't always be spoiling you. Porridge is good for you. It's gentle on the stomach and easy to digest. I understand the need for a simple meal, even though it's not as appetizing. He gives me an encouraging smile as I picked up the spoon. Who knows, maybe I'll surprise you with another special breakfast soon. I can't help but smile back. I'll hold you on to that. The taste may be bland, but the warmth and care behind makes it a comforting meal. After finishing the porridge, I start to feel the heaviness of drowsiness creeping in. Girls! We keep getting drugged! This is Toma's route in amnesia all over again. Except instead of a cage, we're in a hospital bed. And for every reason, we keep eating and drinking all the drugged food. Must be the medications kicking in. I struggle to keep my eyelids open. Dr. Ansem, always observant, notices my struggle to stay awake. Let me take this away so you can get a good night's rest. He moves quietly, carefully gathering up the dish and tray. Okay, but you'll be back in the morning, right? Why, of course. I'll be here in the morning to check on you. Sweet dreams, Koa. Alright. Good night. As the room dims, I hear him softly shutting the door behind him. A simple assurance that the room is secure and safe. For now. With the door closed, I finally allowed myself to fall asleep. The world around me fades. When my eyes open again, I'm not in my room. I'm standing in a narrow alleyway. The air is thick, hazy, making it hard to see much of anything. I start walking, my footsteps barely making a sound in the eerie quiet. Something about this place feels familiar. Almost like I've been here before, but I can't quite put my finger on it. The more I move, the more the sensation gnaws at me, tugging at something deep in my mind. Then it clicks. I'm dreaming. The realization brings a strange comfort, but also a deeper confusion. Why does this place seem so familiar? I keep walking, looking for an exit, but the alley stretches endlessly before me. No doors, no windows, no one else in sight. Suddenly, I hear extra footsteps echoing behind me. I'm not alone. My heart skips a beat, just as I'm about to turn around. My eyes snap open and I wake up. Bro, why is your face so close? I'm immediately greeted by the sight of Dr. Anselm's face, inches away from mine. Why is it ready? Why are you so close to my face? Ah! We both yelp at the same time, startled. He jumps back so fast he nearly knocks over the tray beside my bed. His eyes are wide with shock and he looks as flustered as I feel. My heart's still pounding in my chest, not just from the dream, but from having him this close to my face. Doctor, I think you need to learn your bedside manners again. You're a little up too close and personal. I open my mouth, but no words come out, feeling shy under his gaze. My words feel heavy and misplaced, as if they'd only make this moment more awkward. Sorry, he stammers, quickly standing upright. I didn't mean to scare you. I watch his hands fidget nervously. I was just checking your vitals and you look so peaceful and it's okay. I mumbled, cheeks warm. Suddenly, I'm unable to look directly at him. The room feels suddenly too small. There's a lot of silence before he quickly recovers. So how was your sleep? It was weird, actually. I had this dream about an alleyway. Something flickers across his face. A slight shift in his expression, like he's suddenly paying extra attention. An alleyway? What happened? I shrugged, still feeling a bit off from the dream. I was just walking, and then I heard footsteps behind me. Like someone was following me. But I woke up before I could turn around. He listens carefully, eyes focused on me like he's considering something. There's a moment where I think he might ask more, but he doesn't. He gives a small chuckle. Does sound like a strange dream. But dreams are usually made up of random thoughts and feelings all mixed together. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I release a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for that, Dr. Anselm. This guy is so suspicious. I'm like, is it you, doctor? Were you the one to put us in this hospital so that you could watch us sleep? Of course. He gestures to a small tray on the bedside table. Anyway, I brought your breakfast. I hope you're hungry. I look over, noticing a bowl of salmon and rice. Oh, so luxurious. What's really funny, you guys? I'm like, these are all foods I like to eat. I like bacon and eggs. I also enjoy eating rice porridge, and I also really... salmon is like my favorite fish to eat. Though some of it has spilled onto the tray. His eyes widen in horror as he notices the mess. Oh no. I didn't realize. I'm so sorry. I can bring you a fresh one. It won't take long. Before he can leave, I reach out. My hand gently stopping him. No, it's fine, really. I want to eat it. It looks delicious. It really does. Well, guys, if I were to die in some horror Otome, it would be because I would get bribed by really delicious foods. And then I die. I pick up the spoon and take a bite. The buttery taste of the salmon immediately fills my mouth, and I smile at him. See? It's perfect. I say, my words muffled slightly by the food. His face softens, the guilt fading from his face. He watches me for a moment. There's something tender in his gaze that makes my chest warm. I'm glad you're enjoying it, even if it's not exactly how I planned. After savoring the final spoonful of breakfast, I wipe my mouth and glance at Dr. Anselm, who is busy tidying up the tray. Hey, Dr. Anselm. We want to go for a short walk or try calling my family again. I don't know. And this man looked like as well one of the twills while giving my fave foods. R.I.P. What's really funny, you guys, too, that I also really like eating risotto. Like, I really enjoy eating risotto, and I also really like mushroom risotto. So I remember seeing this doujin once of Jay giving, like, the prefect a bowl, like a plate of mushroom risotto that he made, and like she ate it and it was like drugged. And I'm like, as much as I complain about this MC here eating food and getting drugged, I'm like, I can't even be mad. I feel like to say what happened to me. I'm like, ooh, an attractive doctor is giving me delicious food. Don't mind if I do. So bad. Try to walk option. Okay, we're gonna go for a walk. Let's see if there's anyone else here in this hospital. I have not seen a single soul. I just need a change of scenery. Stretch my legs a bit. Yeah, no. I'm such a sucker for tasty things. He immediately stops what he's doing and turns to me. I'm afraid you can't do that yet. You're still not fit enough to exert yourself. I furrow my brow slightly. Not even walking? I ask, trying to push a little, thinking it wouldn't be much effort. His stance doesn't soften. If anything, he seems more resolute. Do you want to tell us something, buddy? Is there a reason why we can't go outside? Is this real? Are we are we in your basement? There's been no one else here. Are we trapped in your basement somewhere? Is this an actual hospital? Everything is so sus. Even walking. The finality in his tone makes it clear that he's not budging on this. Just outside my room? Absolutely not. There's a hardness in his expression that catches me off guard. For a brief moment, I felt a small flicker of fear. But just as quickly as it came, the intensity melts away and his usual gentle demeanor returns. I feel like every time he narrows his eyes, I feel like it looks like he's crossing his eyes. It's just the art. It's for your own good. Even a short walk could set you back. I need to make sure you're fully recovered before you go exerting yourself. His explanation is calm, but the memory of that sudden shift lingers. Still, I nod, reminding myself that the doctor knows best for me. Very good. The firmness in his voice now replaced with a tone of approval. I sink back into the bed, exhaling softly. But I'm suddenly overwhelmed by the sense of sleepiness. This is the third time we're getting drugged. Oh man, it's like, ooh, tasty salmon. We're gonna get bed sores if we don't get up and exercise. Wait, did I take my medication? The thought floats lazily in my mind, feeling distant and hard to grasp. I try to focus on Dr. Anselm, but his figure starts to blur. My vision slowly fades at the edges, and the room seems to spin. Before I can form a coherent question, I feel the warmth of his hand as he gently pulls the blanket up over me, tucking me in with gentle care, but it all feels distant. I want to speak, but my body feels heavy, and my thoughts scatter. I'm pulled into sleep before I even realize it's happening. I gasp awake, my breath catching as I sit up. I blink, trying to gather my bearings, my head foggy like I'm still caught in a dream. I sit up slowly, the weight of fatigue still pressing down on me like a heavy blanket. How long was I asleep for? Oh, good evening, Koa. How is he always here when we wake up? Like, does buddies never leave? I look up, startled. It's Dr. Anselm. I rub my eyes, trying to shake off the grogginess. Evening? My voice scratchy, trying to shake the fog from my mind. How long was I asleep for? Only a few hours. You needed to rest. How are you feeling? I pause, trying to assess myself. Groggy. Really groggy. I admit, the words slow to form. Why do I feel so tired? I ask, my voice a little sharper than I intended. I mean, after breakfast, I was exhausted. He doesn't flinch or seem surprised by my question. Instead, he pulls up a chair and sits beside me. The same steady patience in his expression that he always has. Fatigue is one of the most challenging symptoms after a brain injury. Your brain has to work much harder to compensate for the damage, even for the smallest task. It can drain your energy faster than you realize. His explanation is so calm, so reasonable that I find myself nodding almost automatically. Well, that's true. We didn't even go to the bathroom. I don't think we even bathed. I mean, it does make sense. Of course it makes sense. But why do I still feel unsettled? It's not unusual to feel exhausted out of nowhere in your circumstances. Your brain is basically working overtime as you recover. It's important to listen to it, to give yourself that rest when you need it. I'm nodding, but something inside me is stirring. Something uneasy. My gut tells me there's more. Something he's not saying. But his eyes, warm and kind, don't falter. He pauses briefly, giving a small cup of pills in his hand a gentle shake. Here we go. It's time for your medication. No, I'm tired of being drugged. I don't want to be drugged. I ain't taking my meds. I stare at the small cup of pills in Dr. Anselm's hand. I don't know why, but today, the sight of those pills makes my chest tighten with dread. He's watching me, waiting patiently. But something inside me snaps. No. I'm not taking them. I slap the cup away from his hands, and the pills scatter across the floor. What the hell have you been giving me, Dr. Anselm? I feel exhausted all the time. I can barely think straight. And you just keep handing me these pills like it's nothing. These are your prescribed medications, Koa. They help manage your symptoms and reduce the pain. Without them, I don't trust you. How do I know they're not making everything worse? What if you're keeping something from me? Dr. Anselm looks stunned, but it's the sadness in his eyes that stands out. It's subtle, just beneath the surface, like he's holding it back, trying to stay composed. I'm not trying to hurt you. The medication is to help you recover. Without it, the pain will come back. I just can't bear to watch you suffer. But I'm not listening. The mistrust that's been festering inside me has reached its boiling point. I'm not taking them. I don't trust you. Dr. Anselm nods, his face falling just slightly as if my words weigh heavily on him. He looks at me for a long time, something unspoken in his eyes, an almost pleading sadness. For a moment, I expect him to argue, to push back, but he doesn't. He sighs, stepping back. I won't force you. He stands, holding the now empty cup, his eyes locking with mine. There's no anger in his gaze, just quiet sadness. As though he's trying to remain strong, but can't fully hide how deeply my rejection has cut him. He turns towards the door, moving slowly, almost reluctantly. As he reaches the doorway, he pauses, his hand resting on the handle. If you change your mind, I'll be right here. His voice soft, but I can hear the pain in it. I'll never stop trying to help you. Then, with one final glance, he leaves the room. The door clicks shut behind him, leaving me alone with my racing thoughts and the lingering tension. The room feels colder, emptier. I sit in the silence, the air thick with the tension of what just happened. My anger still simmers beneath the surface, but the moment Dr. Ansem leaves, doubt creeps in. I know I shouldn't have lashed out like that, but something inside me just couldn't let go of the distress. With nothing left to do, I let out a long, shaky breath, trying to shake off the exhaustion that still weighs me down. Maybe I just need rest. Maybe everything will feel clearer if I can just sleep this off. But almost immediately, a sharp stabbing pain erupts inside my skull, so intense that it rips a gasp from my throat. The pain is unbearable, instant, and overwhelming. It's as if something inside my head is crawling, tearing, ripping to break free. I clutch my head in my hands, squeezing hard as if I can somehow crush the pain away. But it's useless. My vision blurs and darkens, the room twisting and warping around me. I can barely see. I need help. I need to call someone. I reach blindly for the call button. But my fingers are trembling so bad they feel useless, slipping across the bedside table in desperation. The call button tumbles from my hand, bouncing uselessly onto the floor. I know I have to move. I have to get help before this pain rips me apart. I force myself to stand, stumbling forward like a puppet whose strings have been cut. My legs give out beneath me, the world spinning as I fall. Crunch. The sound is horrible. A wet, snapping noise that reverberates through my body. It's as if something inside me snapped, but I don't know what. My neck? My spine? I hit the floor, crumpling in a heap. What? Koa. Koa! I barely registered the sound of someone calling out of my name. I can't move. I can't breathe. Please, stay with me, Koa. She just jokes. This is all my fault. Please, Koa, don't. But I can still hear them, barely, calling out to me again. Their voice breaking, filled with immense desperation. My head hangs to the side, heavy and limp in their arms. The warmth tightens around me, holding me close. But I'm slipping. And then, complete silence. Did I just die? What? Wait, what? Can we go back? Damn. Oh man, I don't know. Are the drugs actually helping us? Or are they making us worse? Like, were they actually like legit drugs we needed? And then we just like slipped and broke our spine and neck. I guess we have to take the meds or we die. Apparently. I take it from him. Because we don't want to snap our neck this time. The pills rolling slightly in the plastic as I tilt the cup in my hand. These will help. You've been pushing yourself. Your body needs the support. I nod, lifting the cup to my lips. The pills go down easily with a sip of water. They taste familiar, leaving a slight bitterness on my tongue like always. I feel a little more at ease as the fog in my mind starts to clear, if only slightly. Good. Don't worry. I will take care of you. You'll start to feel better soon. There's something always so reassuring about him. His quiet patience, The way he never seems frustrated even when I ask the same questions over and over. It's like he understands without needing me to explain. Thank you, I say softly, sinking back into the bed, the sheets cool against my skin. My eyes are still heavy, but I'm less tense now, more at ease. His presence always seems to have that effect on me. Dr. Anselm stays seated beside me for a moment longer. Then he stands slowly, as if not wanting to disturb the calm that settled over the room. If you need anything, just press the call button. I'll always be here for you. As the door closes softly behind him, the room feels quieter, but in a peaceful way. Like all the tension has been drained away. I pull the blanket up around me, feeling safe, cared for, and finally ready to rest. Dr. Anselm's words linger in my mind as I close my eyes. I'll always be here for you. With that thought, I let go of the last of my worries and let sleep take over. Trusting when I wake, I'll still be in good hands. Okay, well then. So this is apparently just a demo. So the full game is still being worked on. But I have a lot of questions. A lot of questions about things. Because it does start feeling a little mind fuckery here. Because I'm like, okay, on one hand, this guy is so sus. He is so suspicious. Everything he does is so suspicious. And the things he says. But then at the same time, like, when we reject him, he doesn't get angry or anything. He just, like, seems very upset. And the one time we decide to refuse the drugs, we die. So I'm like, oh, yeah, we still got a bunch of questions here. Which I assume will be answered when they actually, you know, finish developing the game. But, yeah, first thing first is, like, what is up with Dr. Anselm? He is way too close to us. He's not just a normal doctor, I feel. Like, he's got something going on with the protag. I feel like perhaps he actually likes her or something. What if he's just a nice guy with bad English? There were some typos in there, I noticed. Some spelling and grammar to resolve there. But, cause when I look at the choices, like every time we've done something that made us distrust him, he just looked upset and hurt over it, right? But there's so much unsettling things about him, right? But I kind of like the fact that you don't really know for sure if he's on your side or not. Okay, the number one thing is whoever the hell was staring at us from the hallway, which I assume has to be him, because sussy thing number one, there's literally no one else here. For a hospital, there are like no nurses, there's no other patients. This guy is apparently our doctor and our surgeon, but he's got like no other patients to take care of. He somehow has time to make us breakfast and literally like be there every time we wake up. So yeah, we're the creepy dude that's staring at us when we sleep. There's no one here. This guy's got way too much time on his hand. He is way too close to us. Really unprofessional behavior. I mean, he makes tasty food, that's a plus. Now, the food is clearly drugged, I assume, because we keep falling asleep. Like, and we can't get out of bed, right? The one time we tried getting out of the bed, we like broke our spine or neck or something. And I'm like, that's pretty wild. We have not seen any windows happening. Maybe there's a window, maybe there's not. Is this you in the hospital? Are we in his basement? Where are we? The last thing we remember is that we were going down an alleyway, and then we turned around, and that was the last thing we remembered. So, is it him? Is it you, Dr. Ansem? Or is it gonna be revealed as some other random party that brought us here? So, oh, you wanna go back to the other options? Yeah, let's take a look back. So this is the one where I'm curious. We can look back at the other options here, because this is when we were complaining about someone watching us as we sleep. So we could just let it go. Cause, oh yeah, cause we did yell about the eyes and complain about it, but he just got upset and said that he was gonna look into it further. So we didn't die there. This is the choice if we just forever forget about it. But the truth sat heavy in the back of my mind, a weight I couldn't quite shake. Even though the memory of last night still gnawed at the edges of my mind, there was no use in overthinking it now. Trying to focus on something else, I reminded him. About the call you promised last night to my family? Of course, I remember. Oh, yeah. So then we called our family, so not much changed from here. I think the other choice was... the first action. Yeah, let's see. I still don't like those eyes. That is some creepy ass shit going on. They're watching me. So last time we called out, so we can do nothing or threatened. So we can try threatening. I'm not gonna let this creep scare me. Ahem. Hey, I see you. I are no karate. So you better back off. The eyes stay fixed on me as if testing my courage. Oh, okay. I squint, trying to focus on a narrow gap in the door. I can't make sense of what was happening. Was someone actually watching me? Am I imagining things? Oh yeah, then he starts like breathing. That's real creepy behavior. Nope. Alright, so threatening does nothing. And yelling does nothing. So we could choose to just straight up do nothing. Alright, what happens if we just do nothing and just watch him? I wanted to look away, to close my eyes and pretend I hadn't seen anything. We do not perceive. But I couldn't. I was paralyzed. My gaze locked with the eyes in the door. Okay. Well, he's just... Yeah, it looks like someone watching. Like, why are you breathing so heavily? You're not even being subtle about it. Yeah, then we called for Dr. Ansem. And then as soon as we call it, the eyes are gone. So none of those choices seem to do anything. I mean, yeah, if you imagine like someone in a hospital bed is trying to threaten you, yeah, you're not really feeling threatened by that. They don't even blink, they just stare. He's just, yeah, having his own moment or wherever in the hallway. Like, oh, thanks, Doc. But that does absolutely nothing. We could choose to just forget about stuff. We tried to go on a short walk and he told us basically no. So no clue what is going on in the outside world. We can try calling my family again. So he leaves the room briefly. and returns with a phone in hand. I dial the number carefully, each press deliberate. I even double-check the numbers to make sure they're right. I bring the phone to my ear, waiting for the familiar ring, but again, there's no answer. I frowned. This is the second time they haven't picked up. Something doesn't feel right. I take a closer look at the phone and realize there's no signal. Confused, I asked him, why isn't there any service? Dr. Anselm pauses for a beat before offering a quick response. Oh, it's probably just... Oh wow, why did that go so fast? Oh, it's probably just a connection issue here. The signal's always a bit tricky in this building. Haha. Yeah, I can't help but feel the explanation felt strangely rushed. The room feels too quiet now, like the silence is pressing down on me. I sink back into bed, exhaling softly. But I'm suddenly overwhelmed by the sense of sleepiness. Wait, did I take my meds? Oh yeah. So, on one hand, we can't actually go out of this place, and on the other hand, there is no signal. So either the phone itself doesn't work properly, or we are in a location where it doesn't get cell reception, which is very concerning. I'm like, where could we be that would have no cell reception? We're either super deep underground, or we are somewhere in the goddamn mountains or woods. So somewhere where no one could find us in here. So yeah, I don't know where we are. So that is very, very concerning. And yeah, the last choice was to accept or reject the medication. So those are all the choices. And somehow rejecting the medication leads us to a bad end where we just die. So yeah, that is... We could, yeah, I'd say maybe we are underground somewhere. So on one hand, this guy just screams sus. I'm pretty sure he is not innocent. But on the other hand, he seem generally concerned about us. So it's hard to tell what is really helping us versus what is harming us in this scenario. So it leaves some questions there, which I kind of like. Because you don't know for sure. It's not very obvious. Have you seen the movie Misery? I feel like I've heard about it, but I don't think I've ever seen the film. Oh wait, it's that movie about the I haven't seen the film, but I've seen like a clip of it. But it's like that movie where so some novelist gets into like an accident, and then he's got this like super big fan who's like super crazy, and like she gets like super violent at one point. Okay, yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, it sounds familiar. I haven't actually watched the movie, but I remember seeing that part of the film where she's like going like insane. Uh, yeah. So he is unsettling in some areas, but then I like that contrast between his gentle demeanor. So yeah, I still have way too many questions. I'm like, where are we? Where's our family? Do I have to go into like conspiracy theories? You know, maybe during the operation where he like operated on our brain, he like put a device in there that causes like pain. And then so then maybe he puts a device in our head that causes us pain when he feels like it, so then we're like codependent on him. You know? Very sus, but very good looking food. Yeah, at least like the food's yes, you know, situation 0 out of 10, but man, the food is bomb. He makes some tasty breakfasts, even if they are drugged. Oh, she busts his knees at one point so he can't run and refuses to rewrite his book because he hated the ending. Oh, okay. Well, I think this doctor here. It's like we seem to have lost our memories, but it doesn't really specify how much of our memories we lost. Like she still remembers the phone number of her family, right? And her own name, but not really anything else. So, considering she doesn't recognize this guy, if he is actually a stalker, then they probably never have actually interacted before. So, he's probably just maybe some obsessive stalker for whatever reason and decide to like knock her out in an alleyway and like drag her into hospital and play pretend as her doctor. It could be lies. Like we don't know how much of it he might be lying. Maybe there was never any brain surgery. Maybe she just has a really big headache from getting hit in the head, but there was no surgery. She's just healing from getting hit in the head. But I'm wondering if she but I'm like thinking if he hit her enough to like require a surgery, that feels really dangerous. Like if you were trying to kidnap someone, like you want to knock them out, but you would want to like have them suffer a trauma that could potentially kill them, right? So I'm like, did he do it? Maybe it's someone else that did it for him, and now he's just like, okay, I will look after them. I have many questions. But those are all that's just my my own theories at work here. But yeah, cause hmm, or it's a ploy so she doesn't question the stitchings. Yeah, like how much of it is true, you know? Like yeah, she needs to recover, and apparently she does get splitting headaches that cause her to slip and fall. But how much of that is actually because she did get surgery? Hmm. Because so far, there's only one character in this so far, right? So can only like can't even go back to the title. Oh yeah, let's go back to the title. Imagine he knocked her out by like some chemical and is an actual surgeon and messed up her memories a bit. Maybe he gave us a lobotomy. Yeah, who knows? Maybe we didn't even need this surgery. He just decided to cut our brain open and poke around in there. And you know, kind of mess us up so that it's one of those codependent situation. He keeps us drugged so that he can keep watching us sleep, and makes it so that we have to depend on him for everything. We need one more love interest so it'd be less weird. Perhaps, but I mean, like, if this is a like for a Yandere game, I feel like it almost makes sense for there to be one love interest. It'd be like just Dr. Ansem. Only Dr. Ansem. Just me and the doc. Apparently. Who knows? Is he even a doctor? We don't know that. He could be lying about it. Maybe he's just some dude. And now he's just like playing nurse. Because he wants to like take care of us and have us depend on him. Maybe he's not actually a real doctor. Maybe he's a fake. There we go. Yandere, yeah, Yandere is the only answer. It is. Because I'm looking back now on the, so, the, I guess, producers of this game, they're called Living Slime. It's on itch.io. I think I provided a link. I don't remember. I mean, I do probably have a link somewhere to the game. Yeah, it's a Yandere visual novel. It's still under development. We got the bad ending and the neutral ending. And yeah, I guess you can just follow and see when this game comes out. You follow developers. They're on looks like they're on Twitter and Tumblr. Checking them out here. So yeah, definitely sus. Just super sus. But yeah, he is still sussy. But you know what? I wasn't really sure quite what to expect going into this, but I've actually liked it so far. I do enjoy psychological horror, so the fact that this is messing with me makes me actually enjoy it. Not that I actually want to be in this situation, but it's just more of like I'm curious now. I want to know what is happening. I want to know the full story of what is going on. There's no good ending. There's a neutral ending. We got the bad ending where we like basically like I don't know, snapped our neck and died on the floor there. And the neutral end was just us being like, okay, we take our meds, we sleepy now. Then we go to sleep. So there's gonna be more at one point. So I'm actually, yeah, I will probably play the game whenever it finishes its development. So I'll probably follow it. You know, I was not expecting it to be this invested as I thought it would be. Yeah, we need to know who's staring at us from the hallway. How did we get here? What is his damage? What is his deal? Oh. Because I'm like, there are some games out there with one love interest specifically. So this was kind of interesting to see. What's really ironic, you guys, is that I'm not actually really into yanderes. But there's been so many times in Otome games where I pick a guy and then halfway in his route he turns out to be a yandere. It became like a joke almost. It's like I am yandere bait to an extent. Somehow the choices I make in a lot of Otome games just end up either being yandere halfway or they have like a bad ending where they're yandere. You like Azul, Jade, and Floyd. Don't lie. You don't have to call me out like that. They're not really yandere. Okay, Jade is a big question mark there. Okay, I'll admit that. Like, Azul's not really yandere, though he is quite obsessive and clingy. But Jade I will accept. Okay, Jade is extremely sussy. Jade is like potential gaslight king, okay? Like, okay. He was a weird exception in that area. The others are I think they're less yandere like, though I know there's a lot of fan works and fanfics out there that do portray them as yandere in some. Oh yeah, wait till book 7. We are in book 7. Are you gonna tell me that somehow in book 7 Octagonel is gonna turn yandere? I can see it. Koa will accept any tasty food. You'll be attracted any time. Oh man. You guys are like calling me out tonight. Oh, it's so bad. Yeah. It's like, ooh, food. Cause I'll be like, yeah, you know, I wouldn't fall for all these tricks and wherever, and then, you know, I'll eat something tasty at Monster Lounge and be like, you know what? Actually, never mind. Azul had a moment much later. Okay, very interesting. I don't know if I should be scared. But I will look forward to it regardless. But yeah, it is quite funny how my my tastes have evolved, where I'm like, cause I played Mystic Messenger, and my favorite in Mystic Messenger was like Yu Sung, like the blonde kid, and I thought, I was like, oh, he's like so cute and stuff, and then like I think he had like some parts where he gave off like yandere vibes. I'm like, what is happening? I didn't sign up for this. No, good food made by male person equals potential yandere. That's not true. Trey is not yandere. Trey makes really delicious desserts, and he's not yandere, and it's tasty. It's it's when they start drugging it, we have to be concerned. Which is why I was like so salty about Toma, because I didn't finish Amnesia, but I played Amnesia, like the Otome game. And the first route I went on was Toma, because I'm like, oh, I like childhood best friends, you know? It's like, oh, the childhood best friend or childhood friend trope. I'm like, I kind of like that, so I went and I like Toma, like at first glance. So I went to Toma's route, and then at some point we reached the point where like he is full-blown yandere. We are literally in the cage, and then he keeps drugging us with food. I'm like, what happened? I did not sign up for this. He has with teeth. He likes teeth. I mean, yes, I feel like if anyone has a hobby and their hobby is brushing their teeth, that is weird. Oh. Could you imagine? You're on a dating app, or you're on like a date with some guy, and you ask him what he likes to do for fun, and then he says brush teeth. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Pretty normal until you don't floss. Yeah. He's serious about dental hygiene. But at least he's not drugging your tarts. Oh, he's not drugging your tarts at least. But yeah, there's so many instances. Just like those mobile Otome games. There's just several times where I'm like, how did I end up on this yandere route when I didn't ask for it? And then after that, it's just like, okay, it's a lot of red flags. Like, I will admit, because, like, I've been loving Homicipher lately, so I'm still kind of creating videos for Homicipher. Like, my favorite character in Homicipher is Mr. Crawling, but I do have, like, a soft spot for Mr. Scarlatella, who is also yandere. So I'm like, there's exceptions, you know? There's exceptions. I don't know what the rules are, or the guidelines. So, I'm not into yanderes, but there's like terms and conditions clause in there. So some guys kind of get past. I'll crack up when the next part, Heartsabile, and Trey is just out there. That's true. What would Trey's dream be about? Just him flossing teeth? Just him spending his days just giving everyone some toothbrushes, teaching people how to brush their teeth properly. Question is, can Mr. Scarlatella cook? I have no clue. We never see him cook. Which is because I'm like, I felt like we never really got into a deeper characterization with Mr. Scarlatella. The game was kind of ended a little shortly before we can kind of explore him further. So I don't know if he can. And I'm like, does anyone in that world actually cook? I mean, they all seem to just eat body parts, like just raw. So I don't know. The dentist just became a horror show. Look, listen, I had a dream, or like, I don't know, nightmare, whatever. I had a dream last night that like one of my back molars of my teeth cracked and fell out, and like I was like absolutely losing my mind before I woke up. So the dentist can be kind of a horror show. Teeth are scary. There's a lot of dreams about your teeth falling out. Those are always spook me. I wonder who else in Heartsville will get a card. Oh, Cater is overdue. Come on, Cater needs an SSR card. Cater is overdue for an SSR. I want to say Heartsville, like the next part with Heartsville has to be Cater. Otherwise, he's really getting the short end of the stick because he has not had an SSR in such a long time. So, I would say him, potentially. Makes sense. But yeah, I'm like trying to remember who else, but yeah. Hometown for Cater. That'd be good too, you know. I feel like that'd be it'd be cool to go back to the Rose Kingdom into like another. But I'm like, wait a minute, I'm trying to think. But Cater didn't grow up in. Yeah, Cater. Wait, Cater is not from the Rose Kingdom. Cater is from the Shaftlands. So unless we get another Shaftlands type hometown, but Azul also feels possible. Yeah, Cater. Yeah, Cater lives in the Shaftlands. So it'd be a Shaftlands hometown event. I'm like, I don't think there'll be another SSR as well. I feel like he's gotten quite a fair bit of SSRs. I think there's other guys who may are overdue for them. So I think they'll come before Octagonal again. Because the merge wheels kind of has sucked all my gems. It was a financial disaster I did not recover from. True, Silver does need a new one, because Silver, he had like a SSR Halloween card, right? And I feel like, yeah, he hasn't really had a event one. Yeah, he only has his Halloween one, so I'm like, some guys are overdue for another SSR, so I thought he would get his, like, I don't know, Dawn Knight uniform or something like that, but I guess we're kind of out of the Diasomnia stage now and on to the others, so I feel like then definitely Malleus probably is gonna get an SSR at some point, I would think, maybe. Maybe we would start getting to overblock cards. How about Rook? Rook already had an SSR recently on EN when they went into the Pomfiore dream. So Rook will get his, yeah, Rook already has an SSR, his Savannah Claw Rook, which is a super nice card. I really like that card. Yeah, the Rook SSR was Savannah Claw Rook in his dream. Field cards relate to Book 7. Who could be the Vice House Wardens? Who could be the Vice House Wardens? I think of who else. Because it's more like once we finally reach Hearts of the Beale's dream. I mean, there's 4 of them, so it's gonna take a bit. And then I assume we gotta, fight the final boss, sort of thing. So I'm like, but man, it feels like Book 7 has been going on forever. I don't even remember when it started. I feel like it's been like definitely more than a year since we started Book 7, and it's still ongoing. We gotta drag out the story because we don't know what the ending might be like. I'm here. But anyways, I've digressed it. Oh man. Yeah, we're finally done with Honeycomb battles. I'm so glad we're finished with all the fights. I still have so many retry tickets I don't know what to do with, but I'm just glad to be done. After going on that entire map. And like getting through, oh my god, so many battles in Book 7. That's behind us now as we move forward. Yeah, that was, I think that's, yeah, it for the night. Yeah, I found myself more invested in this demo than I thought it would be, so looking forward to seeing the future of it. But, yeah, I will link to the game to follow. It's in the channel link, probably in the descriptions, and you can, yeah, check it out. And I probably will look into continue playing other visual novels. I am still enjoying playing like horror games and horror visual novels. There. So I'll see. Yeah, what else will be coming up. So I think I was thinking too. I will probably do a community post very soon because I did get some new subscribers recently as well. So I'm curious on what kind of suggestions that people will have for me in streaming games, whether they're like visual novel or like demos and things like that. So yeah, you guys can let me know then. Cause I always like I always dig around on like itch.io and Steam to see what's kind of interesting to play. Until then, thank you all for joining me tonight in this wild gaslighting adventure. Perhaps we'll see more of Dr. Ansem in the future. Hope you all take care in the meantime, and I'll see you in the next stream and videos. So until next time then, this is Koamio clocking out, wishing you all a good night. Bye bye.